This Ellie aftermath stuff is insane. It's just insane. Like I really feel that like I am taking some sort of reality suppressing medication, and because like I showed you on my stream on Friday how the games press and everything else had basically fucked it up. They got it all wrong. They legitimately just got it all wrong. And it's like, okay, there has to be some sort of consequences for getting it wrong, right? Like, there has to be, like, you have to issue an apology, or there has to be, like, a retraction or a correction. There's a process, right? I mean, like, I've worked as a journalist for a long time, and I think my name has been associated with one incorrect story where what happened was I did the research, my sources gave me something, I went away on holiday, passed it off to another reporter who basically said it's a joint report, ran my story completely untouched, and then by the time I got back, it turns out things had changed, so my name, that was the one time in League of Legends, it was involving a couple of Chinese players or something, right? Even then, after that, I tweeted out an apology, a retraction. I didn't do my due diligence. I didn't do the right level of work. I'm not proud of this one, but my name's on it, so I got to take fucking responsibility, right? That's how it works. And I was watching all this Ellie stuff, because again, on Friday, you saw me list all of the publications, Variety, PC Gamer, PC Games, and all these publications. I listed them all these ones that have basically ran with the narrative that, first of all, Ellie was real. Second of all, she had quit because she'd been harassed en masse. No evidence of that, right? And then, and third, that this is indicative that there is a big problem when it comes to women in esports. And this is proof. This is the proof, right? Well, that entire argument falls down, doesn't it? Because first of all, she wasn't a real person. Second of all, you haven't been able to demonstrate there was en masse harassment. And as I've said, 2.5, can you harass somebody who doesn't exist? I believe not. I think it's an absurdity to suggest otherwise. And then 3, where you should arrive, if you follow this logically, right? There's a dude called Punisher OW. He's top 500 ladder player. Never had any pro opportunities. He starts playing to the same level of ability on an account where he identifies as a female, and he immediately gets an offer to be in the tier just below the pros immediately. Never been considered for a team, never had any team offers, never nothing. Same level of skill, because it's the same person. Changes gender, boom, he's in. So how do you arrive at the conclusion from those facts that sexism is a big problem, when in actual fact what it says to me is that, I'm not saying women don't get verbally abused in games or whatever, and often simply because they're women. I'm not saying that doesn't happen. That would make me a liar. That would make me intellectually dishonest. But what I am saying is, when it comes to opportunity, people are so eager to get girls in that actually they would be willing to take a lesser skilled female player over a guy. Now they would, and that's proven by what Second Wind did. Yet not one, none of this has been even suggested by anyone in the games press. There hasn't been a single apology, hasn't been a single retraction for any of the other reports. Some of them have just done one little update and left all the lies in the main articles I'm going to show you. And I'm just looking at it, and what triggered me to turn on the fucking stream today, Rich be looking like Craig from Friday. Is that true? Do I? I'm all right with it. What triggered me to turn on the stream today is I just saw this Nathan Grayson apology. Nathan Grayson, dude, I don't know how he does it. Because when you've already admitted to having a sexual relationship with a subject that you have written about, and people go, oh, but he never reviewed Depression Quest. Yeah, we all remember 2014. We all remember that he didn't review Depression Quest, but that's not the issue. You did write about somebody you and referred to Zoe Quinn's game as being, a hidden gem or something like that. I'm paraphrasing, on Steam, and you're having a sexual relationship with this person. Probably that's where you go to your editor. This is just me, right? You go to your editor, yo, I'm fucking this person, so probably shouldn't write anything. Is that all right? And your editor isn't going to go, oh, this is terrible. He's going to go, thank you, right? He's going to go, he or she, I should say, before I get accused of being a sexist, because I've imagined the editor as a man. It's because in this instance, I know Stephen Tortillo is a man, right? You would say thanks. You would say thank you. But Nathan Grayson skirted that after an investigation. And this, it's not misconduct, right? His incompetent reporting. It's not misconduct. It's just incompetence. And it's like, okay, so you've been guilty of misconduct. You got away with it. Now you're guilty of incompetence. You're getting away with that. Where's the editorial standards? At this point, I don't even blame the hack journalists I'm going to show you. I blame the publications. Because if I was running this publication, this guy, there's two options. If we had the resources, I would send Nathan Grayson on a training course and say, you're not writing anything until you pass a course on journalistic ethics. There's modules for this and in many countries, and methodology. Like, you have to go back to college, basically, because you clearly can't do your job. And that would have been it. If it was a small publication like the kinds I've been an editor for in the past and we legitimately couldn't afford it, I would just cut them loose. Really, is Nathan Grayson a big draw? Do gamers wake up in the morning and go, oh, a new game's been released? I can't wait to hear what Nathan Grayson's got to say about it all. No, nobody in the world thinks that. Not even Nathan Grayson's fucking mother thinks that. Nobody feels that way about Nathan Grayson's writing. I doubt even Nathan Grayson does. It's ridiculous. So, let's just pick up on this whole Ellie bullshit, right? Yeah, this feels too buttoned up. Let's just pick up on this whole Ellie bullshit, right? From where it was. No Alex moans. No funny business. Let's just turn this on and let's just have a look. So, and I'll probably chop this up. I found one of the easiest ways to keep content coming, actually, is do stuff live and then just get my editorial team, my video editors, to just chop it up. It just seems a lot easier to do it that way. So this will probably get turned into a video. So if you're watching that video on YouTube, howdy. Right. This is the second statement from Second Wind, right? Which, by the way, they should change their name to Second Rate, because you have to argue there's, like, incompetence on their part, right? I talked to my sources over in Blizzard, which I like to think people know by now, are legitimate, are genuine. You know what they fucking said to me, right? I talked to two people who said Blizzard were tipped off in advance that there was a player impersonating girls looking to maybe try and get drafted or all of this stuff, and to be careful because people were like taking it seriously. This is before the Ellie-Trick account existed. This was like 3 weeks ago. And Blizzard just did nothing with that information. They just let it sit there and they did nothing, okay? Because, you know, at this point, I almost think Blizzard need the fucking drama clicks. I think Blizzard need the attention of their incompetency, of their fuck-ups, because what are we really talking about with the game anymore, you know? What are we really talking about with Overwatch anymore? It's like, yeah, this is just not fun. Shit. You know, keep playing. Maybe it'll get fun one day. No, it's already swirling down the pan. Anyway, so this was their second statement. They said, when we originally onboarded Ellie, we had just recently lost players for various reasons, and we desperately needed to find a substitute. As a team, we've always had faith in the leaderboard when it comes to scouting for players, and in our search for a new player, we found Ellie as rank 4 in the North American servers. Our team members had played with him in the competitive ladder several times and saw them to be very skilled with a deep hero pool. Due to our need to fill a main position as well, a closing in deadline for roster submissions, and our team having experience with the player, we extended an offer to play on Second Wind as a substitute. So where do we even begin with this? I mean, the players that they took the advisement from, they missed all the fucking rumors and evidence and everything else and just said, oh yeah, I played with this girl a few times, let's go out and get her. Yeah, that's it. You just take that at face value. When we originally contacted Ellie, there was nothing that would spark suspicion. I won't touch that one. That's low-hanging fruit, isn't there? They seem to be very genuine and willing to work with us on calls and within private messages. Due to the fact that we do not have any physical contact with our players, we wanted to verify their identity, but also wanted to respect their privacy as well. Listen, if you're playing for my organization and you're going to get a salary and you're going to be on TV, pony up with your fucking identification. I saw a quote from Aspen, who, remember, I said Aspen's my kind of girl. I liked it. But she did say something stupid when she was doing a stream and talking about the whole thing. She said, oh, when you're a girl, if you want to go pro, you've got to give them your birth certificate and everything. Yes, you need to identify yourself. You're a pro now. You think guys just waltz in? Any ID, mate? Nah. Bank account? Shh, none of your business. No, we give our identification over because that's all needed for background checks. You know? Everybody has to do that. It's what you do when you're professional. Idiots. Right. So if you say if a player goes, oh, I'd love to play for your organization, represent your organization, and you go, we'd love to have you. Stage 1, can you give me some identification? And they go, nah, I'd rather not. I'd rather keep my pride. Get the fuck out and don't waste my motherfucking time. End the conversation. Like, it's incompatible to be anonymous and be a pro. What are you talking about? Anyway, we'll skip forward a little bit. As soon as Ellie was announced, there is one funny line there. At the time, we underestimated how important it would be to set an example as the first team to take on a female player for Contenders. Don't give me that shit. Don't give me that shit. Because you were picking her up. Because you wanted that. You were like, yes, jackpot, bitches. We're going to get all those fucking social justice clicks now. All that money's going to rain from the sky. Like all those fucking people who were out there going, well, I think Guguri should be in the best team lineup, even though she played for Shanghai Dragons, who didn't win a single match. Like, fucking, that's exactly what was going through your mind. You knew how important it was. You couldn't fucking fall over it fast enough to pick her up. You got punked. As soon as Ellie was announced, many questions came up regarding the legitimacy of the player. We reached out to Blizzard early on to help verify their identity and calm the suspicions about our newest player, doing the best we could for the time being. During this time, we worked with Ellie to improve their public presence by prepping them for interview streams and encouraging an environment where they could play with other team members publicly. This unfortunately fell through, what a surprise, due to Ellie opting out for personal reasons. We did not want to press them, for Ellie began receiving doxing and personal threats due to their anonymity. And again, I've seen one doxing threat from a known nutcase called Haunt, and I've seen nothing else. And nobody's produced anything else. Not Slasher, not me, not the people who talk to me, not a single games journalist. I just haven't seen it. So it was one guy who was going to dox her because she wouldn't fucking slide into his DMs. And imagine, by the way, I said this in the fucking Overwatch Discord. I'll repeat it here. How much of an incel do you have to be to get friend zoned by an account that only exists specifically to catfish people? That is Haunt's life. Like, fuck me. How that is like incel plus. Like, there's like fucking incels like looking over at him going, you know what, I don't feel that bad anymore. You got rejected by a catfish. Fuck. Anyway, that is like the incel plus right there. So, you know, here's what you shouldn't have done. You should never have announced her. You should just never have announced her. And I know I know how it works over at Blizzard. Right. Here's how it works at Blizzard. Right. You when you sign a player as an organization, you have to go to Blizzard, say we're going to sign this player. We've got the deal in place. Paperwork's all been done, and they go, yes, we will now conduct a background check and a player eligibility check. Two separate things. A background check is pretty much, you know, are they who they say they are? How old are they? Where are they from? Like, just identity shit. And the second is, have you been naughty on Overwatch servers? Ooh, do you have any Smurfs? Ooh, do you abandon games? Do you grief anybody? Because if you do any of them things in the modern era, you can't be a pro player for these, you know, social justice fixated development companies. So you should have waited It's not even up for debate. You should have just let Blizzard do that, and you don't look like clowns. But you jumped the gun because you wanted your little fucking moment about how you've signed this girl to your organization. And you know, it's hard to feel sympathy for Second Wind at all, honestly, with all of that in mind. Anyway, they then also say here, more could have been done to support our players. She doesn't exist, mate. What do you mean? Like, why are you trying to be a support network for somebody that's not real? Like, what is this? Like, you know, out back, you're the Easter Bunny. Man, they don't fucking like me. That's okay, Easter Bunny. That's okay, Jesus. Like, what's wrong with you? Like, grow up. She's not real. What fucking support network do you need? Jesus Christ. Ellie decided to step down on their own, and shortly afterwards we announced their departure from the team. As of today, Blizzard had gotten back to us on the background of Ellie and notified us that they were not who they claimed to be, and discovered that the Ellie account was used for purposes we do not support. We apologize to the community as a whole for not handling the situation better when we should have. We will aim to do better. Now look, first of all, if this had been any other situation, Blizzard would have fucking absolutely leveled this organization to the ground. But there's a couple of factors at play. I mean, first, they're contenders. Lol. Let's not pretend Blizzard cares about that. And then second, they don't pay $20 million, so who gives a fuck? And then second of all, you know, with this situation that you've got here, they try to pick up a girl, so they were championing diversity, right? So you can't punish somebody for championing diversity when you're Blizzard. We're all about diversity. Overwatch, we want it to be the most diverse game, you know? So obviously they couldn't punish them, but they should have been. I mean, this is incompetence, you know? How do you sign somebody who doesn't exist? Like, can you just imagine it in sports? Like, oh, hey, like, in fact, actually, there was a situation like this in sports. Let me see if I can just refresh your memory about this cunt, right? It's a bit of a legend, but you have to be old to remember it. This is the only thing I can think of in the history of sports that is similar to this situation. So way back in the heyday of the Premier League, there was a geezer called Ali Dyer, right? Ali Dyer, and what it is his Wikipedia page. And what Ali Dyer did, he rang up Graham Souness when he was manager of Southampton, right, in 1996. And he rang up and he pretended to be legendary Liberian footballer, now president of Liberia, George Weah. And he goes, oh, Graham, mate, I got this wicked player, right? My cousin called Ali Dyer. He's banging. And the madness is he's playing for some shit team called Blythe Spartans or something. And he said, like, you got to get him out, man. He's playing non-league football, but he's sick. And Graham Souness, he didn't look at this player. He just said, cheers, Georgie. You're a boy. Thanks. And he brought this guy in on a trial contract and immediately put him on the bench for a game. So what happened was, they were in the middle of it. They were losing against Leeds, right? And Matthew Letitia, legendary Southampton player, gets injured 32 minutes into the game. And they were like, right, we need some magic. Graham Souness looks to his bench. Who've we got? We've only got the cousin of George Weah, right? Banging. Bring him on. I reckon he's going to change the game. So, wrong, though, because let me see if I can find the highlights of Ali Dyer. Is this it? Because let me tell you, it was pretty fucking bad. Has anyone got the highlights? Oh, here we go. Is this it? Because you could tell immediately how bad he was. I mean, the quality's not great, but fuck it, you'll get the picture. I'll put it on with no sound, right? So here it is. Right. Yeah, this is rough. There's young Harry Redknapp. He still looked ancient. Right, there's George Weah, the guy I was telling you about. Absolute legend. So there's the impersonation, because it was Ali Dyer on the phone pretending to be George Weah to get himself signed. Here's Graham Souness. Absolute tit. And then here we go. Yeah, we're bringing him on. Let's get to the good bit. Here he is, running on, 33, Dyer, playing a Premier League game, straight from being an amateur to the Premier League. And Look, he can't. He misjudges his headers. He's just blundering around, kicking people. He can't tackle. He's got no first touch. He's got no pace. The guy's an absolute joke. He's not good enough to play at this level. And quickly, Graham Souness realised he's been done. And after like 13 minutes, he took him off. He just subbed him. He was like, "Fuck this," right? This Ellie situation is like that. That's the level of incompetency we're talking about here. So, just want to get that out the way. Now, I think we can all agree that based on how this all panned out, we like everybody was right to be skeptical. If you were skeptical, right, you know within your heart, right, if you were skeptical because, like, put it this way. Yeah, it is a bit strange, isn't it? That a girl who never existed before had suddenly just propelled herself into the conscious of the Overwatch community like this, and apparently is really, really good, and no one's noticed her before. That's kind of weird, isn't it? That's like weird. You were completely right to be skeptical. Now I'm going to show you all of the publications that I showed you on Friday. This is their equivalent of a retraction. No, you will not find an apology, a retraction, any editorial input about what they're going to do. You will not find a single example of that. So here's PC Games, and if you remember last time, they just changed it. It's Dustin Bailey's report now. Who was the original guy? Ooh, nobody knows. But you can see here, look. Overwatch Contenders player Ellie stepped down from her team's second win after a wave of doxing threats and harassment, doubting their existence. And now multiple sources are reporting that it was indeed not them at the controls. Instead, it seems it was a ladder player called Punisher. And it's like, okay, but you told me different. And again, how does someone who doesn't exist stand down for doxing threats? You don't exist. How do I dox a non-existent person? How do I do that? What is it, a blank sheet of paper? That's where they live. You know, what the fuck? It's ridiculous. Right? They published that quote that I said about Aspen down here. Right? As to the community's response, Aspen suggests the story would be the same for other female players. It's like you need to show them your birth certificate if you want to go pro. That's what garbage it is. Never go pro then, because you're going to hate that. Not only would you need to show like a form of photo identification, you got to give them your address and your bank account details and everything. It's a fucking nightmare, isn't it? People paying you money. It's a fucking nightmare how that works. It reminds me of that ESL thing. That happened with that where people pretended to be transgendered and everybody went up in arms about that, saying, well, how dare ESL ban them? And it was like they couldn't produce photo ID that, backed up their identity. That was all it was. It wasn't like anybody was being anti-trans. It was just that it's a legal requirement in Germany. If you want to play in a competition that gives you prize money, you have to have a fucking photo ID attached to it. And obviously, because these people were faking, they couldn't give them that shit. Anyway, this is like where it goes. Some commenters argued that Ellie's low-level account makes their sudden rise to become a top 10 ranked DPS player suspicious. Their single bronze star indicated a relatively low playtime and suggested they might be smurfing, playing on a boosted account, or was otherwise being dishonest about their identity. I mean, yeah, that seems pretty fucking reasonable to me, my friends at PC Games N. Right? Then, there have been numerous reports of players attempting to dox Ellie. This is a lie! This is a lie! There have been numerous reports. Where? Link me to one. Wait, I can't click on anything. I can't click on anything. You haven't linked me to it. You haven't linked your evidence to your claim. Look, where is it? There's no link, but there's numerous ones. Give me one then. Just give me one. All right, you can't, because you made it up. You made it up, you mad bastard. Wine tonight, by the way. Feeling sophisticated. Might delete later. Numerous reports of players attempting to dox, but you can't produce one. Not even Haunt attempted to dox. He just said, as soon as her name is out, I will do it. That isn't attempting to do something. That's like me saying, Yeah, as soon as I get in shape, right, I'm going to get in a barrel and go over Niagara Falls. You know, you wouldn't say, oh, Richard attempted to go over Niagara Falls. No, I haven't done it yet, have I, you fucking bell end? Right, and then it goes, some of which even accused them of faking their identity using a voice changer. Well, no, they used a much more sophisticated tool to sound like a girl. They used a girl. You know, like, wow, who needs a fucking voice changer when you can just get somebody to sit next to you all the time and be like, oh, yeah, can you just talk in the mic now? Oh, hi, how you doing? Hey, it's me, Ellie. Yeah, great job, great job. Like, fucking hell. You know, as if it's incredulous. As if it's incredulous. As if no one's ever done that, by the way, in the history of the fucking world ever. Right? Anyway, and then it says, it gives the haunt example, which we all know, and then it repeats the thing. And then, why end with this? Currently, the only female player in the Overwatch League is Kim Guguri Seyun, who was signed to Shanghai Dragons last year. All right? Nice bit of trivia, mate. What? That's where you're ending your article, is it? That's the end. Not a we got it wrong. Not we apologize for misleading our readership. Not we endeavor in future to do better and present factual accuracy in our reporting. We just say, well, listen, you know, because let me help you. I'm sure, come on, you're intelligent. You're watching my stream, right? But like, let's be real. Bit of flattery, you know, get you everywhere. Gets them Twitch Primes coming in. But let's be real, right? Currently, the only female player in the Overwatch League is Kim Guguri Seyun, who was signed to Shanghai Dragons. You know, what that's doing is it's saying there is still a problem here. There is still a problem here. There's still a problem here, right? That's what they're saying to y'all, right? It's just intimation. That's all it is. Because actually, PC Games weren't even the worst offenders when it came to the towering hubris of games journalists. I want you to just know, and you can take this to the bank, what Gamergate and fake news, you'll often see journalists go, Gamergate was the the testing grounds for the rise of the far right. They took angry gamers and they made them hate women and they mobilized them to attack minorities, and then they voted for Trump, and now we've got Russia in the White House. And it's like, people believe that, by the way. And it's like, no, here's what happened, right? A bunch of gamers got pissed off that games journalists had all this like network of ties, and one guy who'd been cheated on by his missus exploited that by putting a blog into the public domain that lit a torch paper that had already been fucking addressed 18 months prior to this with that whole Mountain Dew, you know, Doritos E3 nonsense. And there was even a fucking op-ed saying, yeah, you know what? It's tough to be an independent games journalist because we have got all these financial ties to developers. It wasn't like Gamergate just was like a thing and it just appeared, right? But the reason it didn't go away, and the reason these fucking retards are still talking about it in 2019, is if it's not just like a 3-week happening, is because they had to be right. And this is what you will find with all cliques of journalists right now. They are so insecure, so self-important, so understanding of the fact that they can literally manipulate entire narratives and deceive large groups of people with the platform they have, that they will never be wrong. They will never admit they're wrong. And if you ever say they are, or you say they're unethical, they come after you with everything. They've done it to everybody. They've done it to Jordan Peterson, for fuck's sake. I still read articles today. Jordan Peterson, far-right philosopher. Far-right philosopher, what are you talking about? He tells cunts to make their bed. Ooh, back up. What next? Right, if you don't tidy your room, off to the gulag, off to the camps. That's far-right, isn't it? That's far-right, isn't it? They will just lie about you endlessly because it's their superpower. It's their only
Glad
power.
I finally got to catch you live. Been a long time lurker of your content. Peep my night out by tons on all platforms.
Thank you very much, buddy. Appreciate it. I'm glad I'm live too, dude. So listen, this is what they do, and they've done it again here. And if we weren't so used to it, this whole Ellie thing and the way it was reported, it'd be a much bigger deal. But I just think everyone's given up on the games press, haven't we? We've just given up on it. You know, you're running reports on like, man fucking records video of him punching a suffragette in Red Dead Redemption. This man hates women. Ban his YouTube. Virtual lynch mobs. It's like, nobody takes him seriously anymore. You can't take him seriously anymore.
That was totally unnecessary.
We're better off ending the article with, and that's why you never get into a gangbang with Nico.
Sad lol. Right, but look, so here's Kotaku, Nathan Grayson, guy we were just talking about. We're going to come back to this motherfucker. Overwatch team says player questioned about identity was an imposter. Now I'm going to spend some time on Nathan Grayson because he took to Twitter and made a fucking plum of himself, which is just par for the fucking course. But let's just have a fucking scroll down. It's the twit longer. They didn't vet. As for why Second Wind didn't vet Ellie, oh, it was Second Wind's fault, not Kotaku's for jumping the gun, of course. Where's the apology? Where's the we got it wrong? Where's the retraction? It just doesn't exist, does it? It just doesn't exist. It's everyone else's fault. They blame Second Wind. Why didn't Second Wind vet them? Why didn't you vet the story, you mad cunt? That's your job. If a guy down the bar tells me the fucking CIA did 9/11 and they did it for our alien overlords, I don't go, holy shit, I got the scoop of a lifetime. Gotta get to a keyboard and write it up, do I? Because he's a drunk arsehole, and he's probably fucked in the feed. You know, you have to vet things. If somebody else has a critical failure of intelligence, you don't just report it as fact and go, well, wasn't on me. I mean, they got it wrong. Imagine if your source gave you faulty information for a story, and you turned around and said, ain't me, it's just my sources of shit. It's no excuse. So they blame Second Wind. They blame Aspen. Aspen was unable to offer full details on why Punisher did it. I don't know, mate. Maybe you could fucking do a little bit of digging, you know, because Slasher did. And I wouldn't call Slasher fucking Mr. Pulitzer, but he's put all of y'all to shame. I mean, that's how bad the games press is. Slasher literally looks like Tom Wolfe compared to y'all. It's a fucking joke. Anyway. So it's Aspen's fault. It's Second Wind's fault. Then let's just have a little diversion. These new revelations have puzzled and enraged the competitive Overwatch community. Here's what we're mostly puzzled about, Pally. We're mostly puzzled as to how every single outlet falsely reported this. That's what I'm puzzled about. And you know what I'm enraged about? I'm enraged that not one of you has the humility to fucking apologize and just admit you got duped because you were all too busy to run with the goober grape, girls, me. You just wanted to run with that story, the same story you've reprinted, whatever the fuck it's about. PewDiePie's a Nazi, this movie's bad, Gamergate gave us Trump, Russian bots, like whatever fucking fantastical bullshit has been eating away at your fucking tiny, smooth brains for the past fucking 5 years. You just rewrite the same article over and over again. So now they turn the story into women are livid. And this is Liz Richardson, who's a managing editor at Overwatch esports site Overwatch Score. And I've seen her Twitter, like, I didn't want to bring it up because it's like she's sort of a nobody, you know? And I just want to talk about the big publications. But like she did say, I am 7,000 levels of livid about this Ellie situation. People involved decide this stunt will have lasting ramifications for any woman, non-binary person trying to get into contenders. They will all now be subject to lol, are you real harassment? Probably not. You know who won't be subject to the are you real harassment? The ones who are real. The ones who actually have a name, you know, a full name, the ones who actually go on camera, the ones who talk on voice, you know, things like that, you know, things you do when you exist in the fucking plane of reality. Yeah, I don't think they'll be harassed quite so much. There'll be a bunch of people going, you're only getting picked up because you're a girl. And they can now credibly say that because of what happened here, and I think that's bad. Not saying this won't have ramifications, just not the ones you're talking about. And that, so again, not an apology, not a retraction, just finger pointing, just an article pointing fingers. Oh, why Second Wind didn't vet them? You should have vetted your story. Why Aspen couldn't tell us why punishment? You're supposed to find out. You're the journalist. And look, everyone's angry. What about the people angry at you? We're going to ignore them? Not a single acknowledgement they did their jobs poorly. But enough for Nathan Grayson for now, because we're going to come back to that motherfucker in just a second. Let's also have a look at this. Remember Variety? Variety got involved because it suits their fucking purposes to get fucking involved. Because it's, oh, look, misogyny. It's all a misogynist conspiracy, right? Blizzard confirms. Oh, wait there. It's Variety. Avert your gaze. Avert your gaze if you're sensitive to flashing white lights. I'll just read it to you. It takes a while. Variety's not optimized for fucking XSplit, as we know. It said Blizzard confirms female Overwatch contenders player is imposter. Nowhere in that article does it acknowledge they falsely reported that wasn't the case. Let's have a look at PC Gamer. Surely PC Gamer, the great PC Gamer whose death I have constantly lamented, right? Surely they've done something. Well, no, they just did a series of very small updates. Bo Moore, remember him? And look, here's their updates. Update from January the 4th. They link to Rod's tweets. They talk about Second Wind up here. There is nothing. There is nothing here. They just say, oh, an Overwatch esports representative said Ellie was indeed a fabrication. All right. So you got it wrong then? You got it wrong, right? No? You know, Bo Moore? No? You didn't get it wrong? Here's the mad part. This cunt is so shameless. This Bo Moore fucking degenerate. He even leaves the lies like he didn't even edit them out. He left in that joke last paragraph. The common refrain says that esports is a meritocracy and women will succeed if they're good enough. In this case, Ellie clearly had the skill needed to play in Overwatch contenders. The toxicity of the esports community prevented that from happening. The fact she didn't exist prevented that from happening. You've left it in and you haven't even apologized or acknowledged that you were wrong. Please, just acknowledge you were wrong. It's not hard. When you're wrong, you just say I was wrong, and that's it. You were wrong, and you've left it there. You've left your wrongness just hanging out there like a shriveled, miserable penis on a cold day, just there, and people don't want to see it, and you can't even be proud of it, and you've just left it there. Miserable. All right. Let's get to this Nathan Grayson apology, the non-apology, right? Because I thought maybe they will become self-aware, because this was a series of bad fuck-ups that really expose what the games press do, which is they look at a thing that's happening, they look how they can make it fit a narrative, right? Which is, patriarchal society oppresses women. Every white person's racist. Just pick your fucking little social justice talking points, which are all in their own way a form of inverse prejudice, right? And they just parrot that, right? Because you have to. If you're not in the holy church of the woke, you can't have a job in media. You can't, you can't have a job in Silicon Valley. So you have to, even if you don't really believe it. You say it enough times, you start believing it, because that's what cults do. Well, you think every Scientologist believed in fucking Xenu? No. But they go in and they're okay, and then eventually over time you're just surrounded by fucking nutters, so you just start believing this shit. So let's have a look at Nathan Grayson's fucking just slamming Twitter thread, right? R.E. the Ellie story. A lot of people have been yelling at me about it for the past 48 hours, so I want to clarify some things. Let's also just talk about this. Why do they say this? Why do they say, people have been yelling at me? You mean people have been tweeting at you? No one's yelling at you. I mean, it's physically impossible, right? And you might go, oh, Richard, don't be a pedant. No, listen, it's this idea that we are perpetual victims. Twitter is a public forum. You tweet things, right? So you can make money from that, right? And people tell you if they think it's shit or if they think it's good. Nobody is yelling at you. Stephen Tortillo, your boss, should have been yelling at you, right? Absolutely. Should have tore you a fucking new one and said, how many more times are you going to embarrass Kotaku? Now, I'm going to say something wildly controversial with my audience. You ready? Deep breaths. Kotaku's not all bad. It's done some good reporting. It is few and far between. You know, that Cecilia D'Agostino stuff about Riot. I was all right with it. Right? But imagine what it's like if you're Kotaku and you're desperately fighting for credibility. Every goddamn day you're just scratching at the fucking... They're trying to close the coffin lid on your publication and you're just desperately trying to stop them from putting the nails in, right? And you come out and you fucking fuck up like this. You'd be out the fucking door on my watch, son. Like, seriously, you be claiming fucking benefits and back to your fucking mother's fucking spare bedroom, which you probably still live in anyway, right? You'd be out the fucking door, right? Because you are shortening the lifespan of a publication that's already up against some immeasurable challenges. And every time they get some accolades, like people like me and Slash are going, oh, good job on that Riot report, and they go, wow, these guys criticize us all the time, and they're actually criticizing the good reporting we do. That's like positive reinforcement. You want them to do more good reporting. You come along and you do this. And then this shameless assessment of what went wrong. This will blow your mind. Because this just says we don't know. I do not know how journalism works. That's literally what Nathan Grayson is saying with these, right? People have decided that other reporters and I didn't do our due diligence initially, and while I can't speak for other reporters, I'm guessing they, like me, followed pretty standard protocol for these things. Maybe your standard protocol's the fucking problem these days. And then he does a little colon, and he says, reach out to involved parties, wait for responses, and then write. Okay, so far that makes sense. Sometimes nobody replies. That happened here, and it sucks if you're on deadline. It means you've got to work off what's available. Is it ideal? No. A lot of things about online reporting, as well as social media, esports, and the internet, all of which played into this, aren't. Right. So what you're telling me is, okay, you were on a deadline to write something, and you decided to write garbage that just wasn't real because you were on a deadline. Okay. Two things. First of all, I know Stephen Totillo. I do not believe he pressured you to publish this story. No way. I know Stephen. He's a good guy. He's had his moments. Stephen Totillo is a good man. Right? We've had many a private conversation. If I'm ever in New York, I'll hit him up for cocktails. You know, I don't treat people like everyone's the fucking enemy. Destroy them. Something you fucking guys could learn a thing or two about. Right? There's always room for glasnost. Stephen Totillo fell into this fucking pitfall where unfortunately Kotaku's become what it has because that was the audience it courted, and then when the gaming audience started to reject it, increasingly you got to employ the people that play to the gallery. Stephen Totillo is trying to keep the fucking lights on. There is no way on God's green earth Stephen Totillo pressured you to publish something that wasn't true. No way. No way. I know the man. Nope. Don't buy it, Nathan. Sorry, brother. But here's the other thing. Let's say your editor did, right? You're a journalist. It's your name. It's your byline. It's your reputation. You got to have some fucking pride. So I would have said, listen, I'm not comfortable putting this out because I do not have all the facts yet. I will write you something else, anything else, right? Who's to say that you couldn't have just wrote a very different article that said, not that a woman is being harassed, but you could have said there is a strange situation brewing in Overwatch where a girl has supposedly risen to the ranks and nobody knows who she is. And a lot of people are saying she's fake. Stay tuned for more details. You haven't made any aspersions. You haven't made any protestations. You haven't falsely reported any facts. You hit your deadline. What's wrong with that? What's wrong with that? I'll tell you what's wrong with that. It doesn't tick off your little fucking social justice nonsense. So don't fucking try and wriggle out of it saying you had a fucking deadline, son. Because I know how journalism works. I've been one for fucking years. Over a decade. And I did better work with my fucking eyes closed than you ever will do. Some folks have decided I was the ringleader behind people believing Ellie. Never seen that. Which is weird because I was reporting you just write for one of the bigger publications. Suck it up, Buttercup. Comes with the territory. Which is weird because I was reporting on something the Overwatch esports community, not to mention prominent YouTuber streamers, etc. outside of it, already felt was a big moment and were commenting on. Yeah, you were on a deadline and you were already late. Brilliant. There was already all this evidence out there. I agree with you. YouTubers, Twitter people, esports people like me, we were already saying this is fake, this is garbage, and you doubled down and went with your bullshit anyway. On top of that, teams in question, Second Wind, had issued multiple statements about Ellie, meaning that there was publicly available comments from a first-hand source that in addition to Ellie's departure, aka something that happened, made it a story. No, my friend, and that isn't what you wrote in your original report, neither. You wrote in your original report that this girl had been bullied and harassed out of the community. You barely acknowledged that people didn't think she was fucking real, right? So again, where's the story, right? The story is she real or isn't she? That's the fucking story. The fact that you cannot figure that out, I mean, what kind of journalist are you? If those things weren't out there, I wouldn't have written anything because it would have just been a bunch of he said, she said. Oh, so if Second Wind say it, it's not he said, she said. That's Second Wind. The organization you said didn't respond to your request to comment. So the source you're saying is reliable. They said some things. So you wrote your article, which was all lies, all false. And you did that because you think Second Wind, this tiny little piss pot contenders organization, is some sort of a factual authority. Wrong. Some people are acting like in hindsight it was incredibly obvious that Ellie was a fake. Because it was. It was. This is what blows my mind. That's some whiplash-inducing historical revision because a few days ago, it most certainly wasn't. People were making Charlie Diaz conspiracy charts to try and make sense of it, for fuck's sake. No, wrong. Lies, Nathan. Lies. That is the revisionism because let me tell you, nobody with half a brain believed that she was real. Nobody, which is why there was so much fucking skepticism in the community in the first place. Let's just be clear. You're saying it wasn't obvious that she was a fake. This person had no name, right? Had no fucking digital footprint. Came into existence one day after a player who ended up being at Second Wind, funnily enough, had said girls shouldn't be in my MMR. And 2 weeks prior to that, people had been saying, oh, this Punisher dude's pretending to be a girl to fool people. And despite all of those things, it wasn't incredibly obvious that she was a fake. I mean, I don't know, mate. Like, I worry about Nathan Grayson, right? How many times have you arranged to meet up with a fucking Nigerian prince with your fucking bank card ready? I mean, how many times? Like, I don't think you should be on the fucking internet if you think. Ridiculous. Right. It wasn't until Punisher seemingly confessed to Aspen, something that's still uncertain. How is it uncertain by this point? Blizzard have confirmed it before you tweeted this. It's definitely Punisher. It's not even up for debate. Have you seen Slash's Twitter thread? There's like 4 fucking separate sources. It wasn't until Punisher seemingly confessed to Aspen that people started coming forward. No, you're wrong. You're wrong. I'm going to show you were wrong. 2 weeks. 2 weeks before any of this. He was outed on Reddit. And do you know how I know that? Because I do this thing called, fact-checking. So I'm going to give you a little tip here, Nathan Grayson. I'm going to show you all the evidence you missed in just a moment. But just for you, because you're probably a weird obsessive and you'll pick up on this stream somehow. Right. Let me give you a little pro tip. There is a happening in Overwatch, right? And people have been talking about it online. All right, I wonder if there's anything on social media. I go to advanced Twitter search. Oh, and just as a little pro tip, you might want to do your advanced Twitter searches in incognito windows, because then it shows people who are blocked. That's how I name search myself and find all these little rat fucks who are talking about me. Oh, he name searches himself. How vain, how pathetic. Nah, you're talking shit about me on the internet? I want to know what you're saying. Fuck you if you think that's weird. Anyway, so you run the search, you just type in Punisher, Ellie. You know, just keywords. And you do the same on Reddit. And if you'd done that on Reddit, you would have found a Reddit thread, right, which was now deleted. And it says, Punisher OW pretending to be a girl, Ellie, right? And then what you would have done is you would have took it and you would have put it in one of the things like remove edit or set it or, you know, whatever. And you would have been able to get the information that's on there, all of which has proof that it was indeed Punisher, even though the thread in the account that made it got deleted. And I found that, and it took me 5 minutes. And at that point, that alone would have made me gone, this is like a fucking transformer because there's more to this than meets the eye, right? I would have fucking backed the fuck off the story, telling you a little bit more. I would have tried to track down the guy who made that thread. I would have done this thing called investigation. You didn't do that, and now you're saying nobody suspected it was Punisher until Aspen said something. Fucking wrong! She came out and said something because people were saying it was Punisher. You can't even keep your timeline straight. How do you have a job? And even then, things are still rooted in screenshots and other hard-to-verify evidence. Well, the plethora of screenshots and hard-to-verify evidence, by the way, Mr. Journalist, your fucking job to verify them, right? It's a lot better than the no evidence of her existence or the fact she was being harassed that you went with. So you chose to go and write a story that had no evidence to support it over the story that had difficult to corroborate evidence. I don't know, mate. Maybe this line of work ain't for you. Right? He said, here is why I've yet to write an article that says, yes, Punisher definitely did it and here's how. The most solid, verifiable stuff I had at the time of my first article suggested Ellie was real. What did you have that suggested she was real? This is an utter... I don't know if you're just delusional at this point. I don't know if you've got, like, mental health issues. Right. There isn't a single thing that suggests she is real. That's the whole point. That's why people were skeptical. What did you have that suggested she was real? What, she had a fucking 3-week-old Twitter account? That's all it takes, is it? Is that it? What did you have that suggested she was real? Because no one else had anything that suggested she was real. Not even Second Wind had stuff that suggested she was real. Blizzard didn't have stuff that suggested she was real. No one in the scene did. So what did you have, Nathan Grayson? Show me this evidence that was compelling enough. You're lying. You had nothing. You had nothing. And do you know why I know you had nothing? Because first of all, there is nothing. And second of all, and this is probably the biggest one, she isn't fucking real, you fucking idiot. How can you stand by that statement? How can you stand by that statement? That is mind-boggling after the fact to say that. Lastly, and this was a judgment call I made consciously at the time, I chose to believe a person who claimed to be a woman because anything else would have fed into the pre-existing atmosphere of rampant skepticism, verging on paranoia surrounding women in... Right, okay, this is the most honest thing you fucking said. You chose to believe lies because you were afraid of being a bad guy. Well... now we've hit it, haven't we, Nathan? This is the most... you don't even know you've had the moment here. You don't even know, finally, you have told the truth about your whole fucking raison d'etre, right? This is what you are. This is what you are. You're not a journalist, you fucking fraud. That is what you are. I chose to believe something that had no evidence to support it because I didn't want to be a bad man. Ta-da! There we go. You're not fit to practice journalism if you think that way. People call me an asshole. People call me a piece of shit. People say I'm a fucking bad guy. I've had fucking death threats. I've been fucking doxxed. I've had people say they're going to rape and kill my fucking girlfriend. I've had to flee my own fucking house. But you know what? I got a 100% fucking accuracy record because I give a fuck about what I put my name on. And here's what I like to believe. The truth. It's the only thing worth fucking believing in. And if you think otherwise, you're demented. You're a cultist. You're a religious religious freak. I've got no time for you. Right? Fucking... And if you haven't got the fucking backbone to stand by the truth and say the truth when everyone else is lying or fucking do-lally and just fucking going, well, I by power would never throw a game. Ellie-Trick would never leave this team. And they want to kill you and fucking hate you for just saying things that are just all turn out to be true, and there's never going to be an apology, right? And your life's going to be ruined. But you know what? You were fucking right. You ain't got the backbone to be right and have everyone hate you for being right. Don't do the job. Because that's all that matters in this line of work. Being right. Being truthful. That's it. You sacrifice everything else to do that. You can say that, given the outcome of things, I played a role in ultimately reinforcing... This is so downplaying what you did. You can say that, given the outcome of things, I played a role in ultimately reinforcing people's erroneous assumptions about women. But the alternative would have been to reinforce those assumptions in a different way. And to implicitly be always operating under those assumptions. No. That second part isn't true. The first part really plays down what you did. You published lies. You stood by those lies. You didn't do your job. You published lies. You misled your readership. You lied. You didn't do your due diligence. And you published factually inaccurate information because you wanted to be a good person. And you didn't play a part. You just did that. You did it. You're guilty of it. You should be fired. Because you lack the self-awareness to even apologize and say, well, this was a learning moment for me. Maybe narratives aren't the most important thing. Maybe the facts are the most important thing. Maybe I should work harder to get my own prejudices and preconceptions out of my brain so I can do honest reporting. You haven't had that epiphany yet, have you? And you never will, because you're slime. You shouldn't be doing this job. I don't know why you are. Is it worth it? You obviously hate yourself. You obviously hate your audience. Nobody enjoys your work. It's not even good. It's not even like a high-level thing that you do. You just literally blog, like, opinion pieces under the guise of reporting about how everyone who plays video games is evil. What are you doing? Just get out of it, man. There's better things, like go make coffee. Like, you'll be a lot happier, I'm telling you. And you'll stop embarrassing my
you are
profession.
A fucking G-Rich. Love your content.
Thanks, Deuce. That's all I'm saying. Just get out of it. Just get out of it. Nobody wants you to do the job. You can't do the job. You don't enjoy doing the job. You admit that you let preconceptions and lies and shit in your brain inform your reporting. At what point is the penny going to drop that maybe you should just go do something else, go work in an office? I don't give a fuck, man. Maybe you can swim, right? Go be a lifeguard. I don't care. Do something else. Just do something else. Because I'm sick and tired now, right? Do you want to know about the knock-on effect, by the way? You talk about how hard it is to be a journalist. No. You were never a journalist, son. Let me tell you what it's like to be a journalist and have to say to people. I don't even say it anymore. I remember, right? Back when I was a journalist and a gaming journalist, I used to say to people, oh, yeah, I'm a journalist. Or, even recently, I used to be a journalist. Right? I can't say it anymore. People like you have made it like you're immediately a fucking pariah. People will spit on you. They're probably right to do it. I can't even begrudge them. I can't sit everybody down and explain like, oh no, but I'm not one of those journalists. I would never write a false story based on a narrative. I would never say 50% of America's racist because it doesn't align with my political ideology. I would never be a massive hypocrite and say you like that guy from fucking Newsweek who went after Thorin and fucking say, oh, if you ever use the spicy F word, you're not allowed to have a job. And then it turns out if you just do a Twitter search, I've used it multiple times. And he still works at Newsweek. He still hasn't stood down because you have no principles. You're all shameless. And I have to what? I have to wear the same label you do. Fuck me, man. I'd rather be dead. Get me out. That seems pretty awful to me, so I'm not going to do that. And this isn't me trying to sound all self-aggrandizing, he said, while sounding self-aggrandizing. I'm just outlining my thought process in hopes of helping people understand how this all unfolded. Second Wind cited similar rationale underlying their decision, and everybody, by the way, said they were incompetent. I think they did the right thing. They didn't, demonstrably so. They did the wrong thing. The wrong thing. They didn't even follow the league's protocol, you fucking prat. So I wrote a story, then credible info surfaced suggesting Ellie was an imposter. I updated my story and sought more info from sources that could clarify, rather than add gossip to what we had. Your fucking original article was the gossip. The fact that she was real was the gossip. That was the lie. That was the fabrication. Everyone else who was skeptical was right because it was so obvious she wasn't real. It wasn't gossip. It was healthy skepticism. The idea that publications are now backtracking is always laughable. It isn't. It's exactly what you're doing. If you're not backtracking, why are you now writing op-eds about, well, Ellie wasn't real, but if she was, it would just show, yeah, gamers and bad people. Like, literally, this is what you're all doing. I have not seen one apology, one retraction, one correction, one editor step in. And again, as an editor, if you're an editor and you get to see this, fucking come out and write an editorial explaining how this happened and why it will not happen again. Just have a bit of pride. Stop running the thing that I wanted to be since I was about fucking 8 years old through the fucking mud. Can you just stop doing it for a day? I get it. Orange Man bad. Gamers bad. Everyone you don't like is bad. But here's what cannot be bad. You must fucking just be the person who is going to tell the truth. Leave all that shit at home. You can moan about it in your spare time. You can moan about it to your wives, your husbands. You can moan about it to your friends. You can go on forums, on fake accounts and moan about it. Don't make the work, the super important work of telling the truth to an audience. Do not make that the platform. Check this out as well. Apple Cider Witch, somebody who I refrained from getting my legal team on after she said I have a problem with women as a statement of fact. This fucking loser, look at this. Esports people consistently bash Nathan at Kotaku, rightly so. Compete, rest in peace, for attempting to report on what has been at best a fucked up live journal drama-style catfishing meme, misogynistic stunt, while also only trusting people like Michael, don't even think he said a single thing about this, and Slasher, and heaven help us, are Asterix Lewis. Esports, maybe if you want to get accurate reporting, maybe you should actually fucking talk to press. But I guess it's just easy to leak DMs to Slasher on Twitter. Like, again, you don't, right, where's my inaccurate reporting, you dumb fucking bitch? Where's my fucking inaccurate reporting? What are you talking about? I've done the best work in this business. I am esports journalism. Fuck you. Am I wrong? Anyone gonna say different? Is anyone going to say, even the journalists that are out there now hustling and writing good work, who found them? Who trained them? It's me. They're all my kids, you know? Show me all of these fake and you know, nonsensical reports. Show me the inaccurate reporting. Show it to me, because I haven't done any. And I've uncovered more fucking scandals, and I've done more for players and fans than any other single reporter in this space over a 15 fucking year career, right? You wouldn't have shit like the fucking Overwatch League if it wasn't for people who fucking bled to get the fucking truth out about esports. It would have collapsed in on itself like a shitty souffle about fucking 10 years back. Because everybody just wanted to come in, rob children, lie to children, make some money, and piece the fuck out. And the only people keeping them honest were fucking reporters like me, like Rod, yeah. And that's the truth. And you know why you don't know this? Because you just fucking got here. You walk into the fucking house that we fucking built and you tell me the wallpaper's shit. Fuck you, you stupid twat. Rock, paper, shotgun. Right? Rock, paper, shotgun. Oh, Lord. I remember, I'm done with Rock, Paper, Shotgun. Another publication who I lament the passing of. Do you remember how good Rock, Paper, Shotgun used to be? You goddamn remember how good it used to be? And then I even used to give it a pass. I used to be like, I used to still check that site daily. I used to check that fucking site on the daily. And then they had that freelance writer write that article about how Rimworld was secretly sexist and Tynan Sylvester was a fucking alt-right misogynist because of a piece of code that he admitted he got wrong and fixed and patched.
That was totally unnecessary.
And what it did was it made...
Richard, get the fuck out of my industry, Lewis.
Right. I think it did something along the lines of like, what, it made lesbianism more likely than fucking homosexuality or something. And even though there were studies that fucking verify that would have been accurate ananyway, he went, oh, no, we just put a fucking 1 when it should have been a 0 or something. And they changed it. And here was the other thing. The woman who wrote the fucking article put code in and said, we have broken down Rimworld's code, and she presented it, and she didn't even have the code. She just made it up. She made up what she thought the code would look like, and Tynan Sylvester went, that's not even how we code the game. What's that about? So after that, I said, well, I'm out. Like, I can never read this publication again. Seriously, can I? Because again, no editorial standards. No editor came out and went, well, yeah, we shit the bed with that one, didn't we? I mean, we did a massive, wet, diuretic shit all over the bed, which can happen after a night of heavy drinking. They never said that. They never said, oh, this woman won't be writing for us again. They never apologized to fucking Tynan Sylvester. You know, they never did any of that. So, here we go. Jay Costello, contributor. Another thing publications do these days, they can't afford staff, right? So what they do is, for all the stuff they know, right, when they want the hate clicks, because that's what we're talking about, when they want you to click on their fucking website because you're pissed off about something, they get a contributor to do it. And I feel sorry for these fucking people. They're barely humans, aren't they? I mean, think about it on a rational level. Like, you want to be a journalist, right? And you're fucking given the role of writing things that just make people angry, and you know that's what you do. You're like, it's like being like, I don't know, like a fucking agitator at a fucking riot, isn't it? It's a peaceful protest, and then you go, oh, look, policeman over there is like tear gassing someone. Oh, quick, we should throw bricks at them. And then you go over to them, help, officer, help, I'm being attacked. And then like you just cause a fight, and then you sit back and you go, yeah, I feel good about that. I feel good about what I do for a fucking living. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. So they give it to contributors. And here's the thing, because you're a contributor, you have to kind of do it. Like, these people just want to break in the industry. I don't think Jay, I mean, she might believe this, right? But equally, she knows if she writes what the great masters at Rock, Paper, Shotgun want her to, there's a chance she might get brought in on staff. Also, there's zero chance, by the way, because they don't have the money and they're going to fold like every other publication. That's why now if you click on the website, they're blocking your ads. They don't even ask anymore. But she wrote this article called Overwatch Contenders Controversy has once again made things more difficult for women in esports. Let's look at the facts. Guy, top 500, top 4 NA, DPS. No one wants to pick him up in a team. No one knows who he is. Guy starts pretending to be a girl, straight into Contenders within 3 weeks. How? That doesn't sound... what happened doesn't support your argument. You're gonna have to work harder than that. Right. So here we go. It talks about late last year, Tier 2 professional Overwatch team second win announced they'd signed a female player. The woman, who went by the tag Ellie, not a woman, but kept much of her identity private, was lined up to be one of a very few to play in Overwatch Contenders. Though many were excited to see some variety in the male-dominated scene, Ellie was immediately subjected to harassment, including doxing threats. Again, where's the evidence of this? I've seen so much evidence of blind support for Ellie and zero evidence beyond haunt of any doxing or harassment. I'm not saying it doesn't exist, but why can not one journalist show me it does? Why can you not just show me it does? You put a link to everything else. Link, link, link. Look at all this green. Link, link, link. Why can you not link to some of this harassment? Why not just get... Look, I'd even back you up. Just give me 3 random tweets off dickheads on the internet. Just do that. That's all I'm asking for. Not one journalist has produced one thing besides Haunt being retarded. Red BHS, you may post a tweet. You will get a 10-second timeout for doing it. But let's have a look. Is that blue? No, it's technically, I think that's teal. I think that's teal, my friend. All right, so what am I looking at here? If I click on it, let's have a look. Oh, so, yeah, I thought you had... Oh, God, he's a writer for LOL Esports. Oh, God. Yeah, we'll get to that. Thanks for that, brother. That's pretty fucking funny. We'll get to that. Right. So, no proof. Not one journalist. Not even you in my chat can fucking find it. Not even you in my fucking chat can fucking find it. Nobody can find it. Like, you know, all the brain cells out there can't fucking find it. Then Second Wind announced that Ellie was not who they claimed to be, and all hell broke loose. Actually, technically, all hell broke loose before they announced that. Second Wind's statement doesn't go into details about Ellie's identity, but others claims point to 2 main suspects, likely working together. Ex-Second Wind player Colin Kaluuya, who was dropped for poor behavior and boosting, and a top unsigned player known in-game as Punisher. Arai tweeted claiming, "I'm Ellie, it was me the whole time," and all shared screenshots of Punisher talking about an account that he does the girl voice on. A streamer who goes by Aspen also said Punisher had confessed to her, and esports consultant Rod/Breslau posted further screenshots in which Punisher apparently discussed his e-girl Smurf account for Ellie. According to Breslau, the 17-year-old girl who voiced Ellie also confessed to teammates that she hadn't been the one playing, only speaking. Now, so far, by the way, let me give you a shout-out, Jay Costello. This is the most thorough piece of reporting, apart from Rod's own work, ever done on it. Well done. Well done. If you weren't about to plunge into some fucking mindfuck of a narrative, you would already be the queen of games journalism. But no, you can't do it. You know where this is going to go. The headline tells you where it's going to go. Slay, queen! The whole situation was meant to be, in a way, a social experiment, Aspen said on stream. Arai claimed they just wanted people to stop thinking Kaluuya was toxic or Kaluuya is washed up. In the end, though, who Ellie was and what their motivations were are secondary. Oh, it's happening. It's happening. It begins. Secondary to the damaging effect that they've had on women in the esports industry. Those who immediately disbelieve Ellie often claim that it had nothing to do with gender, and yet these same kind of accusations always seem to come up for top female players, regardless of their veracity. The Overwatch League's only female player, Kim Guguri-Seon, was forced to prove she wasn't cheating after receiving harassment for her performance, something that has happened to multiple men, countless men down the years. 2 notable examples in the last year for Counter-Strike alone. Right? I can tell you, back in Source, we used to have motherfuckers that fucking, they would absolutely be bodying people online. And we go, all right, you little cheating rat, come to LAN and do that. And 9 times out of 10, they never turned up. There's nothing wrong with being suspicious about people's skill level. Now, I'm not saying that a girl doesn't get more allegations about it. But we all fucking said, when Guguri proved it was legit, I mean, I was there when it happened. I think I even made it one of my stories of the fucking year in some write-up I did. Right? It's a great story. People said she was bullshit. She went to a LAN event. She wrecked people. Then tearfully said I didn't play well enough. And the guys who'd said, if she turns up and wrecks people, I'll quit, then sort of had to say, oh, fuck South Korea and its fucking honor and its culture. Fuck. It was a great story. Go look it up. And in 2015, a Hearthstone player known as Lee Magic Amy Hierim was the center of an incredibly similar story to this one. Are we still pretending that Magic Amy was real? Look, I like Reynad. Cool dude. Love that dude. Been wanting to get him on the show for a while. He's been busy with shit. We talk. Nice guy. Like him. But Anybody who followed that story, come on. Like, Reynard has to say, he can't come out and go, oh yeah, it was all bullshit and we totally fucked up. Like, Reynard's a smart guy. But the idea that there wasn't something wrong with the Magic, like, it blows my mind. I worked with a goony beard guy called Callum Leslie. He quit esports journalism recently, and on his way out, fair play, he didn't have a swipe at me. I used to work with him at the Daily Dot. And he wasn't a great reporter, but his best work was in uncovering the Magic Amy thing. And he was as soy as it comes. Let me fucking just bring up a picture of Callum Leslie if I fucking can. This guy, you'll smell the soy through the screen, dude. He's a nice guy. Right? So I like this. I like this guy still, even if ideologically we could never be pals. I'd have a whiskey with him, right? But he is as soy as it gets, my man. Like, come the fuck on. Look at this shit. You know what I mean? He's even got his fucking pronouns in his bio, for fuck's sake. Why? Who's mistaking your pronouns, mate? Who the fuck is so out of their mind they're mistaking your, excuse me, mom. Oh, sorry. Like, who's doing that? You know, like, there's no need for your pronouns, mate. Anyway, I'm just saying, and that's like a surefire thing, you know. If your fucking pronouns are in your bio, that's always suspicious to me. Because even if you think it might be necessary, it kind of suggests you put a bit too much importance and all that stuff. And it's just like, listen, I don't think anyone really gives a fuck. Like, most normal people, like, when I talk to people, I don't really care, you know, like, just let's have a conversation. I want to see if you've got interesting ideas, some interesting stuff up here, see if you like this fucking cut of my jib. I'm just not worried about any of that, you know. And then if it comes up and there is a moment where it's going to be like, we know each other enough and we're going to talk about this shit, then sure, tell me what pronouns you like. And you know what? Because I like you and we're vibing, I'm going to use them within reason. If it's a made-up word, like as in a literal made-up word, or if you're that dude from fucking Canada or Ohio or wherever the fuck it was, where your pronoun was the same as your first name and you were Patch. No, I'm not playing your game. I'm sorry. Like, I don't want to upset you. I'm just not playing your game. Like, you're trying to manipulate me and make me look like an arsehole. I'm not going to do it. I'm never going to call you Z or Zer. That's not happening. But, you know, within reason. Within reason. Look, I'll even do they. I'll they, them. I'm all right. I'm a reasonable human being. But once you start getting into made-up words and dragon kin and all this, nah. Never on my watch, and nobody should fucking indulge you. Because it's not good to indulge you. Right, let's get back to this. Right, so the Magic Amy thing. And it's like, okay, these are really bad examples. Because, yes, while Guguri did turn out to be good, she got drafted. And there was no way she wasn't getting drafted. Blizzard themselves would have made somebody draft her. She played for a team. She played on the worst team. And people are coming out and saying she deserves like some sort of award and stuff. And I like Guguri. And I like her Twitter presence. And she tweets about frogs. And she's funny. And she's cool. Not saying anything bad about her. Right? I'm sure she gets a lot of shit. And I think it's gross. Right? But this is a bad example. Right? Because everybody loves Guguri. Second of all, this is a terrible example, because all reporting done on Magic Amy points to the fact that it was a scam. All right, then. Have you got any other examples? No. Interesting. Okay. Plenty of examples of men I could give you. Do you want those? Oh, no, they don't help with the narrative. It's not hard to see how the current situation will be used as yet more ammunition to doubt women who try to go pro in future. If Ellie truly, I mean, are we doubting this at this point? It was a social experiment. It was a poor one. If designed to show what women experience, actually listening to a woman has the same effect without setting us back. Listen, the guy didn't want to live his life as a woman and see what it was like. He wanted to prove that women will get picked up if they pay to the same degree as a above average guy. And he proved that. It succeeded. It worked. It's an embarrassment. It doesn't prove what you think it does. And if designed to show that women get easily picked up by teams, perhaps look at the reaction to see what systemic barriers actually exist. Well, clearly none. Where? What barriers? The team she signed for was so desperate to get her on the team. When she said she couldn't produce ID, they went, "Yeah, no problem. We'll still announce you anyway. Sorry about that. We didn't want to. We didn't want to upset you. I hope asking for your name and proof that you actually exist before we announce you. I hope that didn't offend you or anything." Like, really? For example, after Ellie was signed, it reignited a discussion among top female Overwatch players who shared experience with male peers quitting or throwing their games simply due to the presence of women. And yeah, that's just stupid and unforgivable. And a lot of these people aren't top players, are they? They're just loser men. Here's the thing. I didn't bring it up on the last stream. I remember I said I was gonna, but because I'm Richie 5 tangent, so I went too deep down my own fucking rabbit hole and couldn't get out. But I talked about catharsis, right? Now, listen, there are some people who play video games and they just cathartically want to shout and rant and rave at people because they don't get to do it in their real life. And you know the guys I'm talking about. If you play games, I've done this before. I have been in a livid mood and I've logged onto a game and I've thought, first cunt that fucks up, he's getting it. He's just getting both barrels. I don't give a fuck who it is, but I am using the game as escapism, and if you dare fuck my game up, all of that anger I got from my working day and, stuff not going well with my girlfriend or, family or whatever it is, I'm unloading it on this motherfucker, right? And lo and behold, it'll be something like, something innocuous, and it'll start, and I'll be like, "Listen, are you fucking stupid or something?" And then they start arguing back, and you go, yes, we're in the argument now. I've got the argument I craved. And you would just unload, and you unload on a total stranger, and the game's a shit show, and that stranger goes away, and you get yours. You feel unburdened. It's brilliant, and then you log off, right? There are people that definitely use games that way. I know because I've done it. Is it right? No. Is it fair? No. Is it something that exists? Yes. So when those guys, I don't know enough about any of this situation, but they might be having a bad day, might have lost 5 games in a row, and then a girl picks Mercy right at the start and talks on mic, and it's unreasonable that they do this, but they just go berserk, and they say, "All right, fuck this, I'm quitting the game. Oh, I can't get a break. The cosmic forces are ruining my life." It's a game of Overwatch, like, maybe you need to just calm down a little bit, but sometimes shit feels fucking, like everything's out to get you. If you got that loser mentality, Now, what I'm saying is, those guys are losers. Nobody disputes that. They're losers. If you are so angry about potentially losing a game because there's a girl on your team that you then lose the game on purpose, just have a word. Think about that. Think about that fucking logic, mate. You get caught in them fucking Chinese finger traps for the rest of your life, wouldn't you, you stupid prick? Think about it. Just think about the logic of that. And I've said this so many times. Like, whenever you see people, like, get upset, like, "Oh, you made a bad play. We're going to lose this game. It's already over." And they, like, start running it down mid in a MOBA or start team flashing and team killing, in an FPS. It's like, no, now we're losing because of you. Now you're just angry, and now we lose because of you. Not because of the shit guy, but actually because of you. And when you do that, it's so dumb. It's like saying, "My worst fear is fucking getting run over. I'll show these cars." And you're like, just stood out there in traffic, like, doing this shit. It's dumb. It makes no sense. It's illogical. But that's the nature of fucking interactive entertainment, I guess. Let's not talk about Bandersnatch. Right, anyway. Matt Flame Rodriguez, right? Oh yeah, blah, blah, blah. It did cause some male professionals, like the Houston Outlaws general manager Matt Flame Rodriguez, to pick up on these issues for the first time. He said, "I'm realizing the female player base might have significantly higher skill rating if they didn't have to deal with morons throwing their games for existing." Well, Matt, I should go get my fedora out the fucking cupboard so I can tip you, right? But no, what would definitely help would simply be if people just if everybody on all sides of the argument just let women play without any nonsense, so that the assholes didn't flame them, but equally guys like you didn't like over-aggrandize it. I've said it, 5 to 10 years, female esports pros across all games will be the norm, and you will have top-level females. It's just a catch-up thing. That's all it is. It's just a cultural catch-up. You know, in 2005, I go to events, I didn't see any girls there. I go to events now, it's a lot of girls, probably about 60-40 split male-female. Right? They're getting more and more interested. It is becoming more and more welcoming by every metric. This is true. Overwatch probably has a higher percentage of female players than any other FPS. Like, obviously, on a long enough time scale, they're going to get good and they're going to get into teams. So it's not about like, oh, the men are holding them back. It's like, it's not great. They got to deal with bullshit, but it's just games. It's just online games. Like, just everyone acts like you will always encounter an asshole with an online game, male or female. Is there anyone in the chat that hasn't had an asshole flame them in an online multiplayer video game? Anyone? Has anyone never? Just tell me. No, you're lying. You're lying. And if you keep lying to me, I'll put this fucking Maybe I'll Be Tracer song on, right? I don't need the viewership. I'll do it to you. So stop lying, kids. Everybody goes through it. You know, I've said it before. I go on Face It. If I can't talk on mic, if I get recognized as Richard Lewis, there's a lot of people, in NA especially, that don't like me. And you go, but why, Richard? You're such a nice guy. I know. He's nice. He's good looking. He's done good work for the industry. He's funny. He's got it all. I know. I'm as confused as you are, mate. But I did contribute to iBuyPower getting banned. A lot of people like them. Trust me. Right? Trust me. More hair on my chest, which is not even impressive, is it really? I will say this, like, considering I started shaving at about fucking 12, not my beard should be way hairier than it is, and my chest should. Like, it's weird. I don't know what happened. But people don't like it. I get fucking wrecked all the time if people recognize me. Anyway, the Outlaws, notably, were one of the teams that once used another barrier to entry, single-gender team houses, to explain why they couldn't pick up Guguri. This is nonsense, by the way. This whole, like, any organization that says you can't have a girl in a house with all guys, like, I don't understand that. I don't know what the intimation is at all, because I went to this thing. I don't know if anyone else in the world has been to it. It's called University. Right, like, and I lived in a thing called a dorm, a hall, right, and in it there was like girls and guys, and we had like a shared kitchen and our own bedrooms, and it was I don't know, like nothing bad happened, like nothing bad or weird happened. You know, my first university girlfriend was somebody that I lived with in that hall, but I was great. I was like just 20 meters away. That was all right. So I don't. Is that bad? You know, I don't understand what do they think happens if you take a girl gamer and put her in a house with 4 guys? Like, are they all fucking like just like constantly hitting on her 24/7? Is that what we're saying? That men can't control themselves? Is that what we're saying? Is that the thing? Or is it men are gross, you know? Like what? She wouldn't have her own shower? Like, I don't understand it. I don't know what the argument is. I don't like team houses anyway. I don't think they're optimal. It's just really weird. It's just a weird argument. And it just doesn't stand up at all. Anyway, talks about second wind, blah, blah, blah. Talks about Justin Hughes. And then navigate. Oh, here we go. These are the bits. Navigating an appreciation for women and other marginalized players can be complicated. I've written about it at length. But it's disingenuous to say that it creates the same pressure as doxing threats. And now, of course, there's the question of who actually equated those two things, because Ellie was not a woman under pressure for her gender. Was it Hughes, or I, Punisher, or some other man who chose to blame women equally? Neither is Second Wind. The only part of the pro community's reactions have been disappointing. Many made light of the situation or fell back on old arguments about esports being a meritocracy. There are no gender limitations in esports. If someone is good, they get picked up. Tweeted currently unsigned World Cup player Jurgen D. Cod Meerland. I guess we just ignore him, right? I mean, his opinion's invalid, obviously. Apparently somehow missing literally everything this situation has proved about gender limitations in esports. It's proved nothing about gender limitations. It's proved that a dude who pretended to be a chick goes straight to a team. So here's the thing. I might believe that the author of this, like I say, she actually did some good work in the first half of her article. No doubt about it. That is the best summary published on any of the shit rags that I linked you to. It's just that she goes off on this like mad tangent about this narrative that she wants to spin. And it's like, listen, I would believe, okay, that you weren't just some little fucking antagonistic contributor if you hadn't tweeted this. And this is what she tweeted. Whispers, she said while tweeting it, who's going to tell these gamer bros that Rock Paper Shotgun literally commissioned me to write a weekly Overwatch League column for the new season? Gonna get the gamer bros. Come on. Like, no one legit gives a fuck. I think the game's a joke, let alone you're going to be writing a column about it. Like, what's your job? You count all the Pepe signs that get confiscated. Is that what you're going to be writing about? The league's a joke. The game's a joke. The community's a joke. And you're going to write about that joke. Like, no one cares. Like, serious. Like, legit. It's not about gamer bros. Like, so I'm just saying. But what this reveals is that she's just reveling in the moment. Like, ooh, if I write things that antagonize the gamer bros, I get two things. I get attention, and I get to say I'm a victim if anyone tweets anything mean at me. Checkmate, atheists. It's nonsense. You're not a journalist at this point. You're not a journalist at this point. And it's a shame, because clearly you have the ability to be one. Because that, as I said, that summary is the best summary I've seen outside of Rod's work. Right. Let's all just revel again. Let's just revisit. This is going to have to be another episode of the Richard Lewis Show at this rate. I don't know. I shouldn't. I can't really stay on message, can I? I just think I don't know. Maybe I'm starting to be one of those guys. Like, I don't actually like the sound of my own voice, but I do like fucking talking and talking about anything that's on my mind and having the freedom to fucking do so. So it's like, yeah, these videos, like, every time I turn a stream on, quick stream, it's going to be 10 minutes. And then, like, 5 hours later, it's like, I just talked about shit for 5 hours. Fuck it. There was one apology. One apology. And it was from, I'll just qualify this, right? Eric Kane. Eric Kane linked to that Rock Paper Shotgun article and said, I think it's best we, meaning the games press, just admit we got suckered. I only made a tweet about it, but my tweet was wrong and we should do better. I should have spent more time looking into this before saying anything. A hard lesson, but a good one. Oh, did I butcher?
You butchered my name, Pep Hands.
I'm sorry, is it not D-Cod? Am I meant to pronounce it D-Code? I don't know. Or was it the actual Norwegian part of it? I'm sorry, mate. Look, come on. I'm a fucking working class guy from a fucking mining town. You know, like, it's amazing. I can fucking talk. So we have established, right, that the likes of Nathan Grayson and every other journalist who wrote about this said it wasn't possible to determine if Ellie was real or not. They've all said that. They've all refused to take responsibility. So let's have a look at all the evidence they could have got if they just did their job. This is going to, I'm telling you, this is going to blow your mind. So yesterday, I already showed you, okay, that this tweet existed on the 15th, 16th of December, depending on your time zone. Females should not be in my 4,500 games. Change my mind. It's by a player called Haku, who plays for Second Win, okay? Then, he put out a twit-longer apology within like 18 hours or whatever it was. There, 16th of December. I am sorry. I'll do better. You saw all this yesterday. Then, we know that Ellie, the incredibly real Ellie, right, created their account. This is their first tweet with smiley shades and their fucking ELO the same day. This is enough, by the way, to raise a serious question. But fine, let's ignore that. Let's move on. What else did they miss? Well, right, if you had just ran a search on Reddit like I said, you would have found this. And I will even, I said it earlier, I'll say it again for this segment. What you do is, you Google the shit you want to find, right? Punisher or Ellie. These are the keywords you can see here. I'm going to, I wish, actually, I could show my arrow and cursor and fucking highlight it for it. Ellie, Punisher, OW, pretending to be a girl. On Overwatch TMZ, one of the biggest Overwatch subreddits. You have Overwatch, competitive Overwatch, and Overwatch TMZ. If you ever want to know what's going on Overwatch, you just search those subreddits. You know, it's not hard. Type in the shit you're looking for. You click that little tick box, only search the subreddit. You go through, you set it to recent, new, and you just go through. So what you would have found 2 weeks ago, as you can see by the date here, you would have seen a thread called Final Post on Ellie, a.k.a. Punisher OW, pretending to be a girl, because a few people have been talking about this. Final Post, not the first, the last. So there's been ones prior to that. That's what it tells you. Right? And yes, Overwatch TMZ, in case you don't know, because they have had the self-awareness that all Overwatch is a bunch of fucking gossip, all they do is fucking pander to that. That's all it's good for. They're the smartest people in the room, frankly. So this is an account that's now been deleted called EmbarrassBad0, and in this, it details, right? Ellie, player, as I stated before, sources would not deter me. I knew it was Punisher, blah, blah, blah. Links to a Twitch video for the Ellie streams that trying to prove it's not Punisher. I made a reply, links to fucking chats that they had, right? Moving on, you can see Punisher did this in an attempt to get the drama away from Haunt, which is when Punisher leaked those Haunt fucking logs that we saw on Friday. Blah, blah, blah. Anyway, Punisher exposed himself by not realizing he made the mistake of not removing the time at the very top of his phone, which you can see in the first screenshot as 2:50 p.m., taken 20 minutes before posting this reply while being signed into the Ellie Discord account. Yes, he really is this dumb, and he did, and he fucked up that badly. He actually tweeted something out with the same screenshot as this up here. Now, all you have to do as a journalist is literally, you run a Reddit search, you go in this thread, you take the image of fucking pictures, you look at this. Again, this is enough. All of this is enough for serious questions to be fucking raised. Right? And lo and behold, people are in the chat going, no, never insult the players, this is Overwatch. Yeah. Even Punisher himself went into that thread saying it was all wrong. He got played like a fucking fool. This guy, whoever made this fucking thread, smart, switched on, figured it the fuck out. But he figured it out 2 fucking weeks before any of this. And it got deleted by him, I think, because of harassment. Let's not talk about that harassment, though. Let's talk about the guy who actually fucking figured it out getting harassment. Let's talk about a fictitious woman being harassed. Let's talk about that instead. A person who didn't exist got harassed. Let's not talk about this. Right? You would have found, any journalist could have found this. If I can find it, they can find it, right? So, Let's see what else they missed out on, right? And again, all you had to do, just to say, all Nathan Grayson or any of his kind had to do was put Punisher OW, Punisher, or Ellie into a Reddit search and then just isolate the 3 most popular Overwatch subreddits, and they would have found this, and they would have found every screenshot and link therein. And you're going to go, well, how would they? Because it's deleted. If you're a journalist and you don't know about Remove Edit or Set It or all of these with a C or all these other places, you're not doing your job. You shouldn't be writing about tech, right? This is standard stuff. It's embarrassing. Let's look at what Slasher uncovered. Slasher, remember what I said earlier regarding Ellie. So, Ellie said, I can confirm this is true, seen it. Ellie has said in private messages to teammates in the last hour, confirming she has not been the one playing. She's a 17-year-old girl, but is not good at Overwatch. Blizzard is currently holding a meeting. And then we made it to this part on Friday, but just in case you didn't see it, I've received screenshots of Punisher in a private message conversation with a woman Overwatch player called Katsui. Why is Slasher getting these? Because if it was my story and I wanted a bit of shine on me, and a Kotaku journalist or a Polygon journalist or a Rock Paper Shotgun journalist reached out to me, I'd cooperate. I mean, it makes no difference, right? Rod just simply went on a Discord, which anybody can go on, and say, hey, does anyone know anything about this? And he got this. That's how hard it was. That's literally all it took. And you might say, okay, well, it's a bit different because Rod runs that Discord and he's positioned for it. Blah, blah, blah. No. A journalist could have done that. I'll tell you this, and Rod, if you see this, correct me if I'm wrong, not one of those journalists went to the primary Overwatch Discord and asked anyone anything. Not one of them. Madness. First place you would look, right? No. You don't look on Reddit, you don't look on Twitter, and you don't look on the primary Overwatch Discord. What are you even doing at this point? What are you even doing at this point? Right? And here it is with Katsui. Again, I'll just go through it all. My updated list of hated heroes. I've been learning Widow on a maybe I'll be Widowmaker on an e-girl Smurf account for Ellie and Sombra. With a face when Ellie is now 4,480 with an 80% win rate on Doomfist, way higher than he's ever peaked. You jump through again, and this is Ellie talking. What? You have a 71% win rate on Doom and didn't pick him at all, and you steadily dropped since your peak? Have you been boosted? Be real with me, Chief. I played Doom at DAS start. They countered me, so I swapped. Do you want a 1v1 or something? I clap you easy. Again, low-hanging fruit. Not going to do it. Boosted player's not worth my time. Lol, scared of a little girl. I can see these accounts from a mile away. Cue into me, noob. I farm you. Okay. And then there it is. There's the Ellie account, right? Clap me, daddy. Katsui tells me over the phone that Punisher also proposed to her a similar social experiment as is playing through with Ellie, and she says that he apparently has several women in the Overwatch community the same. And by social experiment, I mean be a conniving asshole. There is more. Seriously. Boom. Here's another. Right now we're up to 3 sources confirming that it was Punisher. 3 sources. Another female Overwatch player, which no games journalist could find apparently, has come. Not one of them has come forward. Who also used to talk to Punisher. Discord messages between them show Punisher telling her he has a girl, a lot of them actually, who speaks on voice for him while playing. Says players slid into DMs to offer money and seduce him. And there we go. Why'd you freak on me, Lamau? You freaked me the fuck out. Wait, so you have a girl who does a voice you in comp? What the fuck? Yee. That's cool. A lot of them actually. I mean, I'm just gonna go out on a limb here and say, you don't bring your sisters into this, brother. You know. No, I mean, come on. If you're reveling in this, trying to make out you're some kind of G because you can get like some 17-year-old girl to sit on a fucking mic for you, like Christ. Anyway, why? To troll people? Yeah, a lot of people. Like, I don't know why this guy thinks he's like seriously, he's like, you know that fucking meme where the brain turns into a hot air balloon and the guy's just sailing off smoking a pipe? Like, you just got a girl talking to a mic and everybody saw through it immediately, and you even got called out on Reddit by a random because you were too dumb and not fucking tweet at the message at the same time. And you think you fooled the world, and you're like, yeah, I got loads of girls. Girls lining up to pretend to be girls for me, yo. Yo, you feel it? Yeah, and why are you doing it? To troll people? Yeah, I trolled a lot of people on the internet in a game called Overwatch. Yeah, like, wow, your life is great, dude. Where do I sign up? Like, how can I be you? Like, please. Limau! Think there is this nutty girl DPS player and people have given me money to try to seduce me. But enough about Haunt. Friend zoned by a catfish account. What the fuck? And duo with me and shit. Streamers and shit try to slide in the DMs. Lamau, that's crazy. Yee, I wasn't expecting that. Come on, dude. Right. Then let's scroll down. More evidence. Bunny Adore tells me she met Punisher through Quick Play LFG, and after playing duo with him, a girl's voice suddenly came on, and they were both laughing. Bunny says Punisher was shady and made creepy jokes, saying "I love you," and using her cute Scottish accent as one of his girl voices. And see here, well, he put the girl on his mic out of nowhere, and it caught me off guard, and they were both laughing. Then he made a weird joke to me, saying "I love you," and I hung up. Who knew? It's almost as if there's a lot of creeps out there, by the way. Straight creeping. Then Punisher bragged to Bunny Adore by sending her a video of him playing another alt called B Emily with XQC and Flater getting play of the game. He clipped it through his own Twitch account of Flater's stream. A woman's voice can be heard saying GG guys after XQC speaks. And what's telling about this is, right, it again, the timing's off. Just watch.
Oh, nice, Diva. Whoa! Whoa! Push point. Diva carry.
Oh shit, dude. Holy
You just fucking popped out. You just went, holy pop off. Huge, dude.
Hey guys.
There it was. Right? There is actually still more. Okay. So, you as a journalist now have been unable to talk to multiple sources that could have confirmed it was them. You failed to create an accurate timeline of when they came into existence and why that might be. You've failed to find out just who they are because they don't exist, and yet ran with them existing anyway. What more is there, Rod? Surely this can't be more damning for the journalists. I mean, that would be ridiculous. They're already looking pretty bad. According to a third woman who has spoken to Punisher but does not want or wish to be named and did not come forward earlier due to her fear of harassment, says Punisher is behind the Ellie Discord and Twitter accounts. It's all fake. No girl or person was initially harassed by Haunt. The third woman, another Overwatch player, says Punisher asked her to talk to him while he was playing. She said he would count down 3, 2, 1 as the cue. It's believed Punisher has many women to talk for him and possibly someone close to help, but the online presence of Ellie is fake. Unintentionally, certain game culture journalists from sites like Kotaku and Polygon ran with Ellie's removal without proper due diligence. Now a recurring problem. Even Rod is digging these motherfuckers. Rod was in the Game Journo Pros email group. He loved all of that shit, and he's calling them out. Now a recurring problem for the media esports coverage, all to the detriment of the serious issue of women facing harassment in games. I've gotten in touch with Punisher, who at first lied to me that it wasn't him, and then pretended his mic was broken, but has now responded saying we'll give his version of events for the story of Ellie. No matter what he has to say, this wasn't a social experiment. This also wasn't worthy of dozens of articles and tweets. It's some asshole kids trolling and griefing each other. Overwatch community esports and the internet for the lulz. So, let's just get back to this tweet here. Right? So, Rod was able to talk to fucking 3 separate people who not only admitted...
Hey Rich, do you think that if the OWL was to follow the current downward trend and fail next year that it could pop the esports bubble?
Nah. Maybe we'll talk about that later. I got shit lined up today. So, appreciate the donation for sure, your question. But short answer is a no. Maybe we'll get into a long answer later. But anyway, so not one journal. Right. Here's another thing you do, okay? Because this is pretty much what Rod did. Rod just basically made it known, I'm investigating this story, and people came to him with the information, okay? Now, Rod does have an advantage because he's Mr. fucking Overwatch, he's League Boy, he's whatever, right? But If I write for Kotaku, here's what I would have done. I would have gone, oh, wow, I would love to prove the existence of Ellie as being real, but it looks like she's fake, maybe. Does anyone know anything? If so, please get in touch with me privately, confidentially. I will keep your identity a secret. Let's just find the truth. And you know what would have happened? These same fucking people that talked to Rod, they would have sent you the same shit Rod got. But you didn't do that. And you know why you didn't do that? Because you didn't want the truth. And you know why you didn't want the truth? Because deep down you knew what it was. And instead you wanted to get your little fucking soy boy points out there about how women are fucking massively oppressed. Gamers are evil. Same thing I wrote again. My Gamergate, my Russian barge. Yeah, 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 yeah. Embarrassing. Embarrassing. You could have. Listen, I've done this many a time, and you know these are probably the only tweets I delete. You put one out. Does anyone know about this? Question mark. If so, get in touch. Slide in my DMs. They're now open. You delete that tweet, and then people fucking do it. You know, and you get your shit. You know why? I got a fucking reputation. People like, oh, yeah, I can go to Richard Lewis for this. I mean, maybe you didn't do that because you knew people wouldn't have come to you. I don't know. I think people would have done. I think these 3 girls who went to fucking Rod would have come to you, but you weren't interested in finding them, and you weren't interested in finding them because you wanted to write the shit you'd already fucking typed up the second you saw this story. And prove me wrong. And just while I got Rod's Twitter on screen, this was another thing I forgot to mention. When I was talking about how it was wrong to kick him while he was down. He lost his dog. Dogs are good boys. Good people. There he is. With his dog, Bowie. Rest in peace, Bowie. All good dogs go to heaven.